Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit dead at certain parts in the video. I recorded this with 2 hours of sleep, and I'm still recording this with 2 hours of sleep. I went to sleep at 10:30 last night, or 2 nights ago by the time this video goes out, and I woke up at 12:30 a.m. So I got 2 hours of sleep, couldn't get back to sleep, and then I had a really tired day, but I streamed anyway and I recorded this anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy. Sorry about that if I do sound dead. My FNaF timeline released on the anniversary of FNaF, and I recommend that you watch it if you haven't yet. But there's one thing in the timeline that I haven't really talked about in a video as of yet, and that is the unlawfulness of the company Fazbear Entertainment. We all know that William is the one who committed the heinous act of murdering between 11 and 16 children. But what if I told you that Fazbear Entertainment was just as guilty as William Afton? That's what we'll be talking about in today's video, and I hope you guys enjoy. The missing children incident was the first event in the series that we learned about besides the bite of 87, and it didn't take fans long to realize that, even back in FNaF 1, that the missing kids were stuffed inside the animatronics. This was made clear by the newspaper clippings claiming that blood and mucus had been leaking out of the animatronics. This basically confirmed it alone, but it was definitively confirmed in the Silver Eyes. The Silver Eyes also confirmed that not only were kids stuffed into the suits, they were actually stuffed before being killed. They actually died in the suits. This also confirms that William obviously stuffs the children, which I feel like was obvious already, especially considering that Pizza Party and Toy Chica the high school years.
Toy Chica is William Afton.
And that's why William was able to dodge his legal troubles. The police all knew that he was the one who killed the kids, but they couldn't legally confirm it because they couldn't find the bodies, meaning they couldn't actually confirm that the children were dead, even though every cop in the department knew that they were, and that William was the one to kill them. We also know that even in the present day of the FNaF universe, which is probably around the 2030s or 40s, William is still seen as innocent in the eyes of the public. In fact, William had actually still been a famous man, which is stated in the FNaF AR Faz Facts. Basically what that means is that publicly, and in the case of the police knowledge, the bodies of the children are never found. But here's the thing, there are no dead bodies inside the classic or even the withered animatronics. The withereds have a bunch of holes in them that we would definitely be able to see a body through, and obviously there's no dead people inside the models. In FNaF VR Let's Plays, I always love seeing people's reactions to hand units saying to open Freddy's chest cavity, because all the people who know the lore, like MatPat and Daco, immediately were worried that there would be a dead body in there.
To access Freddy's chest cavity, grab Freddy's bow tie and pull it outwards.
Is there a dead kid in here? Oh no. Oh no. This is no bueno right here.
But there wasn't.
Oh good.
And furthermore, between 2 and 1, the animatronics were repaired and redesigned, meaning that they would 100% have recognized that there were dead bodies inside. What I'm saying is that Fazbear Entertainment actually found the bodies. This would be definitive proof that William is the killer. Whether it shuts down Fazbear Entertainment or not, it would get a serial killing menace off the streets, and it would be the right thing to do. But what does Fazbear Entertainment do? They find dead children's bodies, children belonging to grieving families who have no closure about the loss of their child because there's always the tiny glimmer of hope that they are still alive. And Fazbear Entertainment, what do? Instead of giving 5 families closure, what the hell do? They cover it up. They dispose of the bodies and never speak of them again. Moving on, the next thing to talk about is Tales from the Pizzaplex. The interesting thing about Tales from the Pizzaplex is that we actually know it is in the games. A lot of people believe that Fazbear Frights is too, but I don't. I think it's possible, I just don't think it's true. But we'll get back to Fazbear Frights a bit later. It's not really that relevant to the theory as a whole, but it's a different topic. But Tales from the Pizzaplex being in the games is, a fact. But it makes the epilogue a lot more interesting. Just to refresh your memory of the epilogue, I'll briefly explain what happens in the epilogue. When animatronics are delivered way too early to the currently under construction Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, it's noticed that there is an abnormality among the animatronics, a bare endoskeleton that seems to have been burnt. One of the employees on the renovation crew of the old FNaF 6 building, Gil, sees the endoskeleton and uses it as his opportunity to prove to Fazbear Entertainment that he should be on the tech team and not the renovation crew. What he does is reprogram the endoskeleton to break off the heads and limbs of the old broken endoskeletons, but the endoskeleton misreads the members of the renovation crew as endos as well, clearly referencing what Phone Guy says back in FNaF 1. The endoskeleton kills a bunch of people, and the epilogue ends with a renovation crew member named Danny running away from the building and screaming for someone to steal the doors. Now, just by my summary of the epilogue, or if you had only read the epilogue without knowing what happens in Security Breach, this may not immediately seem like it's the fault of Fazbear Entertainment, but instead just like a case of an asshole character being incompetent. Honestly, I'm kind of glad Gil died because he was a bit of a dick. But the reason this event shows the evil of Fazbear Entertainment is the aftermath of this event. We don't know specifically what happened after the epilogue, but something I didn't mention is that the renovation crew of the FNaF 6 building were renovating the FNaF 6 building to make it look like it did back when it had actually been open. That way the building could be like a museum, like a monument to the past of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. But in Security Breach, it's buried underground, like it was forgotten, like it was covered up. Based on this, it seems like Danny's wish came true. They really did seal the FNaF 6 building up. So, let me get this straight. A Fazbear Entertainment endoskeleton murders at least 3 people, but probably closer to like 5 or 6, maybe more, in a currently under construction Fazbear Entertainment property. And what does Fazbear do? They seal off the building, leave the bodies in there, and cover it all up. That's not something an innocent company does. Not to mention a bunch of duffel bag messages with criticism that they seem to be ignoring, like the Freddy error incident ruining someone's birthday, the daycare being traumatizing, and them opening up another Freddy's location despite the missing children incident still being remembered by the locals. Another trail in the Security Breach duffel bags is that Vanessa was suggested to be the security guard by someone from the top of Fazbear Entertainment. We all know that there's a new CEO, and this is in the newer story and not the old one, but because of the fact that Vanessa was hired because of a recommendation from the top, and that Vanessa is Vanny, it seems like this new CEO is evil. It's possible they're a new character, but we don't actually really know who it is yet, but it is implied that the CEO is evil, which in turn makes Fazbear Entertainment evil. The last 2 reasons actually come from Fazbear Fright stories. As I mentioned earlier, I don't believe the Fazbear Fright Stitch line is in the games, though I think it's possible that it is. But when Fazbear Frights was first announced, Scott actually said that some stories would be connected directly to the games and some wouldn't. So obviously that means some Fazbear Fright stories are in the games. That doesn't necessarily mean the Stitch line stories are the ones that have to be canon, but I mean, it could be. But some stories are, no matter what. There's a few stories where whether or not they are in the Stitch line is ambiguous. Those stories include The Cliffs, The Breaking Wheel, Sergio's Lucky Day, Jump for Tickets, In the Flesh, that's a theory for another day, Pizza Kit, Friendly Face, Sea Bonnies, Together Forever, and most importantly, Lonely Freddy and Gumdrop Angel. Both of those stories are interesting ones, and they have 2 things in common. For some very strange reason, the debate of Mike Bro versus Mike Victim still kind of exists, and I don't know why, but the Fazbear Fright series is by far the most destructive thing in the series when it comes to Mike Victim. Stories like Pizza Kit, Sea Bonnies, and Kids at Play are the most blatant ones in the books to me, but stories like Gumdrop Angel and Lonely Freddy go against Mike Victim too, for reasons a lot of people miss. I think Alec and Angel both being parallels to the Foxy Bro are pretty clear, since they both bully their younger siblings out of jealousy for getting less attention from their parents than them. Alec's connection is even stronger, considering the heavy association with Foxy throughout Lonely Freddy, as well as the fact that like the ending of the story takes place at his younger sibling's birthday, just like in FNaF 4. So that's what connects these characters to Foxy Bro, but what connects them to Michael? Well, in Gumdrop Angel, after eating the gumdrop nose, Angel's skin completely changes colors and structure. While she's driving back to Freddy's, her body literally crumbles in on itself. This directly parallels the events of Sister Location, where after Michael is scooped, his skin changes colors, and at the end of the final minigame, or not minigame, but like 8-bit cutscene, he falls to the ground. Now, you may think this is just a bit of a stretch, but if you look closely, or just kind of pay attention to Michael's body in the minigame, not only does it fall, but it doesn't fall over, it literally falls down in on itself. As for Lonely Freddy, I think it's important to realize that a lot of events in the games do kind of repeat themselves, or something else happens in a similar way. Like, multiple events in the game lore actually parallel each other. A good example of this is the Sun and Moon animatronic in Security Breach, which directly parallels the dynamic between Vanessa and Vanny. In Security Breach, we learn that history is kind of repeating itself in a way that William Afton, at the beginning of the series, dresses up in a bunny costume to kill kids, while also sometimes disguised as a security guard, for example in FNaF 2, before Jeremy works at the location. In Security Breach, Vanessa, who is the security guard at the Pizzaplex, dresses up as a bunny to kill kids. There's also the fact that there's 2 purple guys who are different people, like 50 different Springtraps who are all the same person. A Freddy's location is burned down like 3 times in the series, and FNAF 6 being planned to be turned into a museum to honor the old Freddy's locations, which was literally the entire point of Fazbear's Fright in FNAF 3, and both of them actually get burned down. There's probably some other things that I can't think of right now, but I think the biggest one is the theme of some outside entity inhabiting a person's body. As I just talked about, Entered this location manipulates Michael and ends up getting him scooped so that he can go inside Michael's body to escape Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. But in Help Wanted, we have essentially the same thing, where Glitchtrap manipulates Vanessa into getting possessed by himself, the spirit of Afton now partially inhabiting her body, using it in order to either escape the game or use the game to force her to help him escape the FNAF 6 building. FNAF 6 building is underneath the Pizzaplex, and he's kind of trapped under there, meaning that, it would kind of be a similar situation to Entered underneath the FNAF 4 houses. He's kind of trapped under there, obviously, and it's kind of the same thing. Or it could be a bit of both. Either way, these 2 events parallel each other, so given the fact that Alec and Lonely Freddy switches place with the Lonely Freddy, parallels the scooping of Michael, which ties Foxy Bro, Alec, and Michael all together. So I've been talking a lot about what these stories mean for the greater lore and why they prove Mike Bro, but parallels are awfully debatable, so much so that a lot of people discredit them completely. So if you're one of those people, don't worry, parallels aren't the only thing that we get out of these stories. The Lonely Freddy dolls literally switch bodies with people who interact with them. While it is very possible that William Afton made this technology, Fazbear Entertainment had no problem with keeping them around, and given the behavior of the employee who throws the Alec Lonely Freddy away, it seems like they definitely know about it. Thinking about this also made me realize something that I for some reason never realized before, and it is a genuinely horrifying thought. Lonely Freddys are literally the exact same thing as Fazgoo. But let's not focus on that and make ourselves want to die. Let's instead talk about Gumdrop Angel, and this one is a lot more blatant than the Lonely Freddy one. Dominic, a standard employee at Freddy's, or I think he's like the 3rd manager or some kind of manager for the place, but he's an employee at Freddy's. He's not like at the top of the company or anything. But he is literally aware and completely okay with the fact that the company gives human noses to little children, which turns them into candy so children can eat them alive at the next birthday party and become candy themselves for the next and the next and the next. In fact, Dominic is sad when it's Angel who's turning into candy instead of a younger child, which is obviously because he likes her, but he still makes children eat her alive anyway. This guy is not innocent, he is completely guilty, and so is the rest of Fazbear Entertainment. But what do you guys think? This is less of a theory and more of me just being the messenger about an objective fact about Fazbear Entertainment, but is there anything else that I missed in this video? Is there something that I forgot about that proves Fazbear Entertainment is guilty too? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. The next theory I have planned will be about Henry and the FNAF 6 ending, so stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to, but I'll see you all in the next video. By the way, Henry is a fucking clown.